Hello, my name is David Crowder. Thanks for letting me be here through the wonder of technology. I'm Skyping in from Alaska, US of A. Been on a whaling adventure for the last 3 years. However, I got here, it's a lot colder outside than I thought it would be, so I've pretty much been indoors the whole time, and I've not gone on any adventures. But this is amazing. You guys look great. I mean, you look fantastic. This is just amazing. No, wave back, so I don't feel dumb waving like this. This is weird. All right. I mean, this is like we live in the future or something. I can't even believe we're doing this. Actually, I'm kidding. I'm not Skyping. This was filmed like weeks ago. I'm confident by the time you see this. And for all I know, there's nobody in the room right now. I'm just talking to nothing, but I'm going to pretend you're there, and this will be fantastic. All right, so I'm chatting today to a room of nothing, or maybe a couple of people, about creativity. And I've titled this little oratory presentation, How to Drink Water. And it's my belief we're created by nature. Formed in the Creator's image means in part that we can't help function with an imprint of that inclination. And it's just part of who we are as humans. It's what we do. So to try and explain how to be creative feels a little bit like trying to explain how to drink water. I mean, part of being alive here on planet Earth is to take the materials around us and make things. It's just in us. It's a fingerprint of God. And this should relax all of us. I mean, when we talk about creativity, no need to panic. I mean, if you don't feel like a creative type, I'm just telling you right now, already you have the stuff inside of you that is an attribute of God Almighty. And that should be freeing. So this will be a conversation not dissimilar to how to expand on any other attribute of God that's inside of us, like love. How do we love better? Same conversation. How do we create better? Now, I set the front end up. All of us have engaged in discussions around the idea of creating, and so I'm not suggesting that we as humans are intended to talk about taking something from nothing. We're talking about using what's already there, making something with it. We're just basically reallocating materials. But speaking of water, there's this old story that goes like this. Two fish swimming in a fish tank, out for a leisurely stroll around the tank, just laugh after laugh. What a life. And one fish is an elder fish, one fish is younger fish. Anyway, elder fish looks at younger fish and says, "Wow, water's great today." Younger fish looks at elder fish and responds with the question, "What is water?" And this is a story that's a simple metaphor of culture, metaphor of language, environment, social political structure. It is economy, it is art, it is religion. It's a place and time we're born into, the thing we breathe in and out from the moment we get here. And it's difficult to see objectively things that shape us. To drink water, you have to first be able to recognize what is water. And this is hard. I mean, to be able to form some sort of objectivity regarding the thing that shaped how you even considered the thing is difficult. And those individuals that seem to be able to see the materials around us and say something about them, it just seems rare. And I don't think it should be. To be able to look at water, to look at a bit of our environmental experience and nudge to the guy next to us and go, "Hey, oh my word, did you see this? This is creative." And it's easy to point to in art. I mean, in fact, I was just having a discussion about this with a friend of mine. We're sitting up in the front of the bus as we're rolling down the highway, and he makes this grand statement that all art is this: the nudge, the attempt to communicate, the "Hey, did you see that?" And I said, "Bah, art for art's sake." And yet I had this tickle. I couldn't let go of it. I mean, think about the first time a guy or gal discovered fire, how to make it. He absolutely turned to his pals and went, "Oh my word, do you see this? This was sitting right here in front of us the whole time." Or the moment he can actually say out loud the word fire and his pals can understand him. Language even is a creative act, and these things both become water and change water. Creative acts that change the water usually say something about the water. Now, ironically, I am not a fan of water, the drinking of it. And so this is irony in a literal sense, not the Alanis Morissette Rain in a Wedding Day sense. I mean, rain in a wedding day, just a bad day, you know what I'm saying? So seriously, I drink the least amount of water of anyone to ever live. Historic fact, Wikipedia, look it up. I just find it incredibly boring. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can have liquids colored and flavored and fizzy and tasty. I mean, I guarantee you, not just flavored, but flavored with like 23 flavors. I mean, if I were a fish, I'd totally be swimming up in some Dr. Pepper. However, I do love that Fiji water stuff. You know, there's like the beach scene on the bottle, and it's squarish, and that's cool. I mean, for real. I mean, both these things make water way less boring. But then there's also the fact that the Fiji water tastes pretty decent. It really does. It tastes like nothing like the well water from Texarkana where I grew up. Nothing like the chlorine and fluoride infused nonsense coming on my faucet now. But my friends will tell me I'll be griping about the faucet water, city water, and they'll be like, "Oh man, just stick one of those little filters on the deal because you know that looks great." And I say, "Hey, how about you pipe down and go get me some Dr. Pepper?" And I don't have a lot of friends. But anyway, Fiji bottle. Now that is not boring. And here's what it said on the beach scene square bottle. If you flip it over, it says Fiji water fell as rain hundreds of years before the Industrial Revolution. After filtering through volcanic rock and our water collected deep within the earth, this natural process added silica, a mineral that contributes to the Fiji water's unique soft mouth feel. And this is wonderful. Basically, they're draining an ancient aquifer to let me drink it from a square bottle, and this feels wrong and ridiculously indulgent. But I really love the Fiji water in its cute little square bottle and the silica with the soft mouth feel. Just not as much as Dr. Pepper. Irrelevant. I wonder if our role as creators is to filter through the water, bring something to the people that is ancient and tedious to make. To filter water, I mean the stuff that comes from the rivers and the streams and the ocean and up in the sky and back to the ground and sinking into the ground, and the purest, tastiest parts there bottled in paradise with a beach scene on it. Could our job be to bring people water from paradise, to sift through culture, find the parts that we should point to and go, "Hey, oh my word, did you see that?" Because that's the life-giving part, the intention of God part, the fingerprint that makes us look, the moments to point to in the first place, you know. Maybe we're supposed to be collecting and filtering things, choosing carefully the water we drink and recognizing water, and by the power of the Holy Spirit, filtering and collecting so we can bring people water from paradise. There's this fantastic little book titled Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, and he's got this lovely little chapter titled Nothing is Original, which sounds really depressing, but it's not. Nothing is original. I mean, as mentioned earlier, we know philosophical and theological such and such regarding this. We humans cannot call out of the void nothing into something. Ecclesiastes 1:9, nothing new under the sun. And it sounds like a bummer, but for me, it's completely liberating. It leaves a little bit of pressure. There's a famous quote by Andre Gide, everything that needs to be said has already been said, but since no one was listening, everything must be said again. And we know, we've experienced that. Despite the claim that there's nothing new in the sun, it sure feels like that we hear and experience new things all the time. Like discoveries blow our mind, heart apart. The song that you listen to for free on the YouTube playlist sounds like something you never heard before, makes you feel things in your chest, the things you've been chasing, wanting to experience, the life-giving, all that. I mean, it's in that song, and it's new and life-giving, and you know what it means to feel and be human, and it's like fresh, and like the first time you heard the Black Eyed Peas, My Humps, remember that? I mean, my humps, my lovely lady lumps, what freshness and insight into the human conditions. I'm just saying, to recognize water is difficult. To discard, perhaps, the lyrical, relational model presented in My Humps, and recognize things worth collecting, like perhaps the song structure, kick drum pattern, tonality. This is what it means to recognize water and be a good collector of things that are useful. And this isn't to say you get it right. As a collector, you're not going to get it right. To try to spend your time and energy in areas that blow your heart apart and you can hold on to and give to people later. You're going to fail completely, and it's okay. You know, we've been drinking water too long. We've just been living in it, but to fail is not a big deal. It's really not. It only gets scary when we start to begin to believe that God is active in the world only when we are active and participating in what he's up to. When you let go of that messianic complex, it gets way easier. And you can fail and still make great water. For instance, Fiji had this ad campaign in 2006, and this is fantastic. And here's the campaign. This is in quotes. This is what they said aloud. It says, and this is it. It says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland. And I think that's funny. I can laugh at it because I don't live in Cleveland nor work for the Cleveland Water Department, but for some reason, Cleveland Water Department was a little offended by this, and so they ran tests on Fiji water and Cleveland water and several other nationally bottled brands, and turns out Fiji topped the list in arsenic and other contaminants. So apparently, I really love the taste of silica, arsenic, and other contaminants. Speaking of creative, props to the Cleveland Water Department. Absolutely brilliant. Now, one of my favorite designers, and just one of the most brilliant humans ever, in my opinion, is a guy named Raymond Loewy, known as the father of industrial design. I mean, he did this right here, International Harvester logo. I mean, this is brilliant. It's a tractor with a little man on it, but the initials of the company. See what he did there? Genius. And he's also responsible for a couple other logos you may know, like Shell, Exxon, BP, Lucky Strike, U.S. Mail, Hoover. Studebaker designed Studebaker cars. TWA logo. Redesigned the Coca-Cola bottle and got rid of the embossing, the lovely shape of the bottle that you love and find dear. That Raymond Loewy. Interior of the Concorde jet. Air Force One. Interiors of the Skylab. Greyhound bus. Trains, cars, household first refrigerator ever marketed on beauty of design alone. Raymond Loewy changed industrial design forever. And it's insane that there's so much output from this one dude. So many things I love about his approach to design, though, is how he treated ideas and the moment of inspiration. He was a collector. He thought about the people he was making the thing for. He would say you can't outrun them. First thing Loewy did when he was looking at the Skylab design was stick a window in it so astronauts could see Earth. Seems like a simple thing. Window wasn't there, and if not for the window, astronauts said they'd have gone a little bit nuts. And you don't want crazy astronauts, I guess. But his detail and need to see the whole experience of design for those interacting with it was inspiring. For instance, he didn't set out to make the International Harvester logo. He's asked to make a tractor. But he couldn't make a tractor without making a logo because he felt like their previous logo didn't belong on his tractor. And in fact, he was so meticulous, he wound up designing not just the tractor, not just the logo, but the service buildings, the sales buildings that the tractor would be sold in, the uniforms that the sales and service people would be wearing, because he needed the tractor to sit in the right context. He needed a new culture, borrowed and pieced together from what was already there, because it would present his best filtered water. So how to drink water? It's a dumb question. You just drink it. And we do. We arrive here, we come out of water, feel in our lungs, and we come out of water, we cough, breathe in a new thing, in a new place, and we begin to drink. And this is where life came from. We start with a bottle, the sippy cups, and the fancy glasses, and artisan wells. And this is our growth physically, to create well, to drink in culture, metaphorically, to recognize what it is that you even drink. You first drink deep, living water. You first have to come from death to life. You must exhale, cough out what you've been breathing in and out since you got here. Breathe in life, and then learn to drink water, to drink everlasting life. And then suddenly, the disparity between here and there, between us and him, between heaven and earth, the dream of God and the dreams of men, between where our feet are planted in paradise, the disparity between what we want and say and should say, inadequacy of language, recognition of the brokenness of the very ground under our feet, the brokenness of our social, political systems, the brokenness of our art, the brokenness of our church and our family and ourselves. How to drink water? Indeed, let us collect, filter well. So we say something worth saying. We are creators, every single one of us. Let us create well. You exist in a specific time and space. Drink the water, filter it meticulously, and then make something good, make something great. Thank you, guys.